Okay, so we are back for divisional round playoff picks this weekend coming up here. And at the end of this, we're going to go over a little bit of what's been transpiring in Pittsburgh here with my team. Um, but let's get this ball going here. I'll play my intro and I'll be right back. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody's well. I can't believe it. Season's almost over. But we got a few games to get through. I'll be right back. Okay, so that's the end of that. Like I said, I just wanted to come on and do the what they call a divisional round of playoffs this weekend here. Let's get rid of this. Whoops, I want to do that. Remove that. This is the second take, by the way. The first take didn't go very well. Try to be transparent. I don't want that. There we go. Okay. All right. So let's get to this. Let's see here. I just want to do this. Watch this. Ready for this? Ready? Oh. It's so funny. Oh. Intense applause. All right. So let's do this first. For our team for 19 seasons, I think, is gone. Ready? But anyways, let's go over this. Let's go over this week's playoff bracket here. Hold on, let me share the screen here. You got to keep me away from these buttons here. All right, so. All right, so here we are. This is the divisional round. Wildcard weekend is over. And we have the divisional round today and tomorrow. And then, of course, we got the national championship Monday. So I'm making that prediction now, too. Not sure. All right, so we got blown out. So it's Texas. The Texans have moved on. Saw that coming. We had no chance of beating the Texans. I don't even know why we played that game. But anyways, they made us play it. The Bills got past the Jaguars. I think I picked the Jaguars in that game. I'm not sure. But I definitely picked the Patriots last week. So the Bills moved on. Patriots moved on. Texans moved on. And, of course, the Broncos had the week off. They had the the bye week because they were basically the number one seed. So they will play the Bills on the 17th, which is today. They will play. It's strange how this game is on at 4:30 since it's on the West Coast. So the Bills are traveling to the Broncos. And then let's see here. In the NFC, hold on. Okay, so the Seahawks had the bye in the NFC. The Rams beat the Panthers. I knew that was going to happen, but that game was kind of closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought the Rams would run away with it. But I mean, the Panthers put up a good fight, 34-31. So the Rams moved on. I think I picked the Eagles last week, too. I'm pretty sure I picked the Rams. The Eagles I picked to go and win that game against the 49ers, but the 49ers won that football game. But they lost a key guy in Kittle. So I don't know if I'm going to pick them again. And then this was probably the game of the week, the Bears and the Packers. The Bears almost seem like they're on a team of destiny here. They pulled it out again over the Packers. The second time they've come back and beat the Packers at home. So they will play. I'm pretty sure I picked the Bears in that game. Not sure. I did pretty good last weekend, though. I think I went almost 70%. So the Bears and the Rams are playing tomorrow, but the Seahawks and the 49ers, so the number one seed always gets the first game of the weekend in each conference. So Seattle's going to play the 49ers. That game is on at 8 p.m. So the two games today are the Bills and Broncos, and the 49ers and the Seahawks. And, of course, the Broncos are at home at Mile High in Denver, Colorado, and the Seahawks are playing over there in Seattle. So with that said, let's change this here. I do want to go to, let's see here, home. Let's go to standings like I did last week. These are all straight up picks, though. This is all opinion anyways. It's not written in stone. This is just me. Some guy sitting in front of a computer trying to figure this stuff out. So let's do this here. So we got the Bills and we got the Broncos here. The Bills, they're 12-5 this season. Winning percentage of 706. The Broncos were the number one seed. They took the number one seed this year. They were 14-3, so they got the bye. So they've been resting for a week. Winning percentage 824, home 8-1. It's tough to play in Denver. Denver is a really tough to play because of the altitude. I don't think that's going to be a big factor as far as the altitude today, but you never know. I mean, Buffalo isn't at sea level, that's for sure. So they're 8-1. The Broncos are 8-1 at home, 6-2. They've had a great year, 93 in the conference. They only allow 311 points. The defense is just incredible, and they're plus 90 difference in the two sides of the football, and they were on a 2-game winning streak going into the playoffs. So that tells me something there. The Bills 12-5, 7-2 at home, 5-3 and away. The division 4-2. I wish they had the interleague play here too, but they don't. 9-3. The Bills had the same division that the Patriots played in the NFC. So they have a little bit better as far as the difference. They're plus 116. Their defense is not terrible, but they're not Denver. And they scored. The Bills scored. And they won. They were on a 1-game winning streak going into the playoffs. No, sorry, they were winning a 1-game last week against the Jaguars. I think they actually beat one of the better teams in the entire league last week in Jacksonville. All right, so that's that. Let's do the NFC here, and then we have the second game. We have, hold on a second. Let me go back. I forgot already. See, the second game we have San Francisco and Seattle. So let's go back. San Francisco and Seattle. Seattle. This is one of these rivalry games here, Seattle and the 49ers. This is turning into be a pretty good rivalry. If you go all the way back to the Super Bowl years with the Seahawks with Richard Sherman and the 49ers. Usually the Seahawks play well at home. Now the Seahawks are a really good team at home. 14-3. Record this year, percentage 824 there. They played really well. I think, did they have the best? They might have had the better record. 6-2 at home, 8-1 away. So they're really good at away. So that tells me something that doesn't matter where they play, they're going to win. 4-2 in the division. I forget what the two losses were. 9-3 in the conference. So they pretty much beat up the conference too. They're plus 191 and a win streak of 7. So they've won 7 games to get into the playoffs. The 49ers are 12-5. The 49ers have been dealing with issues injury-wise all year. And like I said, Kittle is not – I don't think Kittle's going to play today. He suffered an injury last week. That's a big thing. 5-3 at home, 7-2 away, so they're good on the road too. Division 4-2, 9-3 in the conference. And I know two of the losses came to one of the losses at least came to the Seahawks. I forgot who won the other game. It doesn't matter. It's the playoffs anyways. It's a new slate. And they're a plus 66, and they went into the playoffs with a record of one loss and a losing note. And I actually think they lost to the Seahawks. I could be wrong. Let me go here and find out. Seahawks. So Seahawks, they won. This is so they beat the Seahawks 17-13, the first game of the year in the regular season, and then they lost 13-3 at the end of the year. So that was the game a couple of weeks ago. All right, so let's go back here. I'm going to make those two picks right now, I think. Let me go back. Schedule. No, I did that already. So I'm going to take today. I'm going to take Denver, and I'm going to take Seattle. Denver, I'm going to take. I don't know if I want to do this. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with the Bills, because I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think the Bills are going to win this. If it's a high-scoring game, I think the Bills will probably pull this out. So I'm going to go Bills 30-24, somewhere around there. But I'm going to take the Bills. I have a feeling the Bills are going to go out there and beat them, even though Denver's defense. I think that I'm probably going to be wrong in that game. That's a tough game to pick because the Bills are so good. If they can somehow find a way to run the football in that game well, and as long as Josh Allen doesn't make the big mistake in that game. So I'm going to take the Bills 30-24 in that game. The other game, Seattle, San Francisco. I'm definitely going to go Seattle. I just don't know the score in that game. That's the later game. That's on at 8 for us over here on the East Coast, but it's going to be early for them. But I'm still going to go Seattle in that game, even though I heard some rumors that Darnold is going to play, even though he's got an oblique issue. He got injured, I think, in a practice with an oblique issue, but I'm still going to go Seattle in that game because I just don't think San Francisco is going to be able to do anything without Kittle. Kittle is a huge issue if he's not going to be on the field. So I'm going to go Seattle like 24-17. Somewhere around there, 24-17, maybe 27-21. That game could be a blowout too. But anyways, let's go to the next games here. Let's go to the NFL. Tomorrow's games, we have Houston and New England. This is going to be a blowout. This will probably be the blowout of the weekend. Houston they got a great defense, but they have one of their main guys out. Nico is out. So, what are they going to do? It may start off kind of slow, where Houston's trying to feel out New England's trying to feel out Houston. But I think at the end of the day, New England will figure it out up here in New England. And I hate to say this because I'm not a big New England fan at all, but they're just they're tough at home. They're just a great team. Drake May is playing out of his mind, and they didn't have the greatest game last week against the Chargers, but That'll change against Houston. And this is going to be like 30-14, something like that. It's just going to be it's going to be terrible for Houston up here. It's going to be wicked cold. It may have some snow up here Sunday. This is going to be at 3:00. That might actually favor Houston a little bit, the early game here. But the only way possible that Houston can win this game is if they can run the ball like they ran against Pittsburgh last week, like 100 and I think Houston had like 146 yards on the ground, but I still don't think that's possible. And in the second game that'll be tomorrow at 6:30. So these are all tomorrow's games, January 18th, Sunday. We got the Los Angeles Rams at Chicago Bears at 6:30. I'm going to take Chicago. I think Chicago's on a mission. Chicago just doesn't want to lose. I mean, I gave up on them in that game last week, but they were resilient. You know, that's Ben Johnson is amazing. He's probably the coach of the year. I mean, I don't know how he cannot be coach of the year. He's just great. So I'm going to take Chicago in that game. Los Angeles doesn't travel well. I don't think they're probably the better of the West Coast teams that do travel, though, to the cold. I don't know what the temperature is supposed to be like there in Chicago. I'm sure it's going to be fairly chilly. I don't think that's going to matter, though. I think Chicago's just playing well. They just don't seem to want to lose. And Chicago's on the up and coming. They're a really good team. They're going to be even better next year, I think. So if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, they'll probably win it next year. But I'm going to go Chicago. This will be a lower scoring game. This will be like 21-17, somewhere around there. It's going to be a close game, I think. But I think Chicago will probably pull it out of there. But I say 21-17. Yeah, that sounds right. 21-17, 21-20, somewhere around there. This will be a good game, though. The blowout will probably be New England and Houston. All right, so that's the end of that. Those are my predictions for the week. All right, let me get back here. Hold on, let me go here. And we'll go here. So we've got rid of our coach, or he left. Mike Tomlin is gone. I was a big fan of Mike Tomlin. I remember when he got hired, back when Bill Cowher kind of basically just stepped down. Bill Cowher was just done. Bill Cowher had a rough tenure with us. I mean, he finally won the Super Bowl, and he was like, I'm getting the hell out of here. And then Mike Tomlin kind of took over the team. But I don't like to say those things because, you never know what – I've seen coaches take over good teams before and just basically tank them. So Mike Tomlin is like if I had to rank all three of our coaches since I've been watching the Steelers, it definitely is going to go Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. I think Chuck Noll, because people forget back in the early 70s, late 60s, Chuck Noll took over a franchise that was just awful. I mean, we were probably the laughing stock of the league. I mean, I forget what year we came into the league, probably in the 30s somewhere. But we were just a terrible football team. We couldn't win for anything. When Chuck Noll came in, he was a nobody. Nobody knew who he was either. But he brought with him a culture. He brought with him I don't know what was going on before. It was a little bit before my time, but he basically set some rules in place. But he also knew talent. He also knew who to pick, who not to pick, who to kind of correct, who not to correct. I remember a famous thing from him was he had a player that was really good that was out late and didn't make a practice or something like that on time, and he just cut him. He was that kind of a coach, but Chuck Noll arguably had some of the best picks in all of history. I mean, when he got to Pittsburgh, he basically looked into the locker room and said, the reason why we're losing is because everybody in here sucks. So he got rid of basically everybody. And pick after pick, I think first pick he got was Mean Joe, and then he got Franco, then he got Terry Bradshaw, then he got all these guys. But he basically built this thing we call the Pittsburgh Steelers here, because before him, I think they had maybe 2 or 3 winning seasons. It was awful. And after the merger, after they went through the merger and stuff like that, they basically took Pittsburgh and brought them over into the AFC. And Pittsburgh is still losing to Chicago and Green Bay, so it's a good thing they got sent over to the AFC, because they couldn't beat those guys at all. Anyways, Cowher took over at a time, and Chuck Noll was done. I mean, they have, put it this way. I've been watching the Steelers since 1974, 1975, and the only thing I knew at the time was Chuck Noll. When Chuck Noll stepped down, I thought, yeah, what the hell are we doing? What are we gonna do now? Chuck Noll's gone. We can't replace Chuck Noll. It's just not going to happen. But along came this guy, Bill Cowher. I mean, nobody knew who Bill Cowher was either. He was I think he was a linebackers coach or something like that for the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody knew who the hell he was. And I think they actually wanted there was a rumor that Dennis Green from the Vikings was going to get the job, and everybody was really high on that. But they didn't get him. They took Bill Cowher, and Dennis Green went to Minnesota, and that was the end of it. But in 2 or 3 short years, I remember Bill Cowher. I remember the games vividly. The Buffalo Bills, when we took the conference back, we literally were getting butchered by the Bills for years and years, and then finally, when Cowher took over, we destroyed the Bills in that regular season game, and it was over. The Bills weren't good until just recently. And then when Mike Tomlin came along, when Bill Cowher stepped down, I knew they were going to have a team that was going to be able to compete for a few years. They had some really good players. Going back to Bill Cowher for a second, though, I don't think Bill Cowher wins a Super Bowl without Ben Roethlisberger. And I think the same thing about Chuck Noll, too. I don't think Chuck Noll wins a Super Bowl without Terry Bradshaw. I just don't. A quarterback makes a huge thing, and I'm getting to a point here very shortly. The thing with Tomlin that I want to give him credit for is he never really picked a quarterback. He either got he got Big Ben when Big Ben was kind of still in his prime, but at the same time, he never got a chance to pick his guy, his quarterback, and I think that hurt him over the years, because Ben stayed around too long, and they didn't want to let him go, and they missed a draft pick, and then here we are. You're only as good as your quarterback. I don't care who you are. I don't care what team you like. A perfect example is, I got thousands of them. Look at Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady came from Michigan. They didn't even play him, but because of an injury, Belichick put him in the game, and the rest is history. Look at Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett was arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks in all of college ever, and New England hated him. They sent him off to the Raiders, I think. Did they send him off to the Raiders first? I don't know. I forget now. He went to the Raiders and won a Super Bowl. So you never know. But you have to have a quarterback. It's just you can't win without a good quarterback. You just can't. And unfortunately, you don't know who it's going to be until they get to the Super Bowl, because I've seen a lot of great quarterbacks get to the Super Bowl and stink. Dan Marino, tons of them. So where I'm going with this here is this Pittsburgh Steelers team. I don't know who these guys are. They're not the team that I like and grew up with. This team here is it's a joke. This team here is really bad, and they need new blood, and they need a complete overhaul. This team is second fiddle to they're not going to win a playoff game with this guy. It's not going to happen. And they just need to revamp this entire team. I don't care who it is that they get to coach this team. They just need to go through this team and literally gut it. I don't know if anybody's seen the movie The Money Pit, where Tom Hanks and was it Shelley Long? Is it Shelley Long? They buy this house and it looks nice on the outside. It's completely remodeled. And the guy comes in and tells them, your house is falling apart. You're going to have to tear the whole thing down and basically rebuild it. But the foundation's good. The foundation's good. If you got a good foundation, you can still probably work with it. That's what's going on here. Tomlin's been a great coach for us. He's in there with a pillar. We've only had 3 coaches in the last since I've been watching the team. And he's right there in line with all the other ones. He's a great guy. But I think sometimes, you can't be the great guy, and you can't just communicate with these guys through, words that are just falling on deaf ears. I mean, you have all these people coming out now and saying how they love playing for Mike Tomlin, TJ Watt, Aaron Rodgers, and all these guys. They did absolutely nothing for him. For Mike Tomlin. If they liked playing for him, they did nothing. TJ Watt is probably the most useless linebacker guy that ever played for us in the playoffs. I mean, he is just absolutely terrible. They can have him too. Probably a great guy. His stats are great, just like his brother. His brother's stats are great too. But when they get into the playoffs, they just suck. They're just awful. Nothing. Same with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, 42-year-old, 43-year-old, loves Mike Tomlin, loves playing for him, but he did nothing for him in the playoffs at all. Nothing. Zero. You can go down the list of people. So we'll be back. We'll be back for sure in the next 2 or 3 years, but they need to gut this team. This team needs to be completely reconstructed. They'll do it. I have a lot of faith in them. So that was my take on the Celtics. Not the Celtics. Listen to me. The Steelers. And that's the end of me for the week. I'll be back next week to give more picks for the championship games, AFC and the NFC, because that's what's next. After this is the championship. And after that is conference championships anyways, and after that's the Super Bowl. So I'll be back next week. Let me get out of here. Hold on a second here. Hope everybody has a great week. This went longer than I wanted it to because I didn't want to get into the Steelers stuff. I'll be doing a lot more sports here because I do have other teams. We have the Celtics. I got my 4 teams, actually 5 teams. Oh, I wanted to pick the national championship. I think I'm going to go with Miami. Probably going to be wrong because I've been picking against Indiana all year, and they've been proving me wrong all year, but I just can't go against Miami. Just can't do it. So anyways, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers we'll be talking about a lot in this channel. Boston Celtics, probably my second favorite team, and other sports as we go. And that's the end of that. And I hope you guys have a good week. I'll be pulling for your teams, whoever's in there. I don't root for anybody but myself, so have to root against the Patriots because it is the race for 7, and we can't let them get 7, period. All right? So let me play here my outro, and I will be hold on a second here. Hold on 1 second here. Be back next week. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe. Let's go Steelers.